due to the rain, the playground was delayed in getting done.
Yeah, a lot of things have been delayed.
But also Rape Trail is still in process. So I'm standing here with Trustee John Becker. I just said over at the playground that he regularly attends the Union Township Republican meetings.
I do.
And he explained that due to the rain, the playground was delayed in getting done.
Yeah, a lot of things have been delayed.
But also Rape Trail is still in process. So we don't know when Rape Trail is going to become Safe Trail, but I was over there last time, and it's still a lot of work to be done over there.
They're making progress on it when they can.
Now, there's been lots of rumors that the trail behind the administration building is going to be named after me in a ceremony. So I hear a lot of people talking about it. Is there any truth to those rumors? So you gave some updates at the trustee meeting. One of them was, not at the trustee meeting, at the Republican
Union
meeting.
Township GOP meeting.
And you were the one that brought up about the Kroger Victor Haddad thing.
Yeah.
And then subsequently I talked to you or messaged you, and you told me I apparently had not been paying attention to trustee meetings. So you sent me a little video, but you want to explain real quick what you found by looking at the records in terms of what Hall Property was trying to do.
Sure.
Where that currently stands.
Yeah, so what happened was the Hall group took Kroger to court because Kroger wanted to do what, in Hall's group opinion, the court agreed, violate the covenant. So that would be the contract that the owners of the Eastgate Mall signed up for, or their subsequent owners signed up for when they purchased the property. So Kroger, by virtue of purchasing Sears, became one of those 5 primary owners. They all have veto power, and they are all beholden to those covenants. So
one of those, for example, is that anything built there has to contiguously connect to the mall.
Well,
you can't knock down buildings and put them other places without the consent. I think there's 5 of the 11 parcels back there. I think it's 11 or so parcels that actually have all 5 need to agree to make any changes to the covenants. Is that your understanding?
Yes, that would be correct. So yes, any of those 5 have veto power. And apparently Kroger had permission from 4 out of 5 to do what they wanted to do in terms of tearing down the Sears building and putting a new Kroger store in its place. What the Hall group wanted them to do after they purchased it, they did not provide consent to Kroger. And then Kroger decided, well, they're going to do it anyway. Then Hall took them to court and said, no, you're not. And the Hall group, that's the owner of the Eastgate Mall, they eventually won in court. So it's being appealed. But what the Hall group wants Kroger to do is actually flip the direction of the store and move it to the back of the lot, which would be closer to State Route 32. So the back of Kroger would face State Route 32, and then the front of the Kroger would face toward what is the existing Eastgate Mall. And then what Hall has in mind to do is actually level the mall. It'd be all of it with the exception of Kohl's and JCPenney and Dillard. And then in its place would be mostly parking lot, but then there'd be some surrounding new box stores. For example, Menards would be the biggest. And what the Hall group had in mind was actually building the Menards right next to Kroger. And again, the Menards would be up against State Route 32 like Kroger would be.
So, but was there any evidence that Menards was part of this?
The only evidence is on the court record that the Hall group submitted.
So my view, and I was just talking to genius Ken Geis, falsely maligned frequently. That property there getting used for more retail, selling us Chinese stuff would be a dramatic underuse of the potential of the property. And I like to say to people, if Donald Trump controlled that property with the infrastructure all around it, the grid all around it, the location, the visibility from the highway, there is no way that Donald Trump would say, hey, oh my God, we could get a Menards here. Well, I think that I talked to Ken, we're going to do something, I don't know how we'll do it at least, but go into different areas that have actually been successful, like Loveland, like Milford now, like down at the Banks, where the key was mixed use, housing being tied in. And then you can look at places that are perpetually under-optimized, like Anderson Town Center is a good example, where that property would be worth probably tenfold its value right now had it been redeveloped into mixed-use property. So, as you know, I'm not beating a dead horse. I just try to beat it into his head and Joe Dill's head every time I talk to him, how important it is that we view that land in that area as an unbelievable strategic asset and not just another place to put up some big box stores that'll be gone in 10, 15 years because we're all going to be having autonomous Teslas deliver our stuff to us from Amazon.
Well, when we talk about best use of the property, I think the most egregious example I've seen is a storage facility put on prime property there, next to the Eastgate Mall. I roll my eyes every time I go by there, and thinking, that was a horrible use of good property. Some of these other malls you're talking about, I'd be interested in learning how, the local government there, how were they involved in the redevelopment of those malls?
Right.
The township does not own any of the Eastgate Mall property.
Right.
It's all privately owned.
And has the township, in the Ken Geis era, one of the things that the township did, which I understood, because I asked him what was good and bad to do, and one of the things was when you have a lot of separate parcels, like old house lots, it's good for the township to get in there and consolidate them because nobody wants to build houses, in an area up against, a commercial area.
Sure.
So to consolidate them. So have you guys purchased any properties like that since the Ken Geis era?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So Corey Wright is a disciple of Ken Geis.
Okay.
And Corey's been following in Ken's footsteps.
So you guys are still actively will try to consolidate parcels to make them more attractive.
And we've been doing that, yes.
So I think you guys would be foolish to not, if a parcel became available in the Eastgate Mall area, to try to get a vote. Because right now, I think the foolishness, I actually think you would agree with this, the foolishness of the $350,000 on a plan was that this township has no real vote in it right now. And
Correct.
So you're throwing money at something where it was clear that even the owners of the parcels were not interested in participating in the plan. So it was just a waste of money, I think.
And as you know, I voted no on that.
I know you voted no. He voted no. John Becker votes no on most of the dumb things. Most of the dumb things. He votes for some dumb things, but things like this, like wasting taxpayer money, on it, or thinking that if we throw money at it, it's going to cause these people to want to work with us.
Well, there was valuable logic at the time. I just disagreed with the logic at the time. Okay. And unfortunately, I was proven correct.
All right. Anything else you want to hit on? I kind of drove you down that path, but you're here. What are you doing? You've got buns out. You're the bun man.
Yeah, I'm available to do whatever is needed.
Okay.
So I'm here to serve.
All right. Well, John, I thank you for taking a couple of minutes to talk to me.
Anytime.
I don't think you and I used to come over to my house and drink non-alcoholic beer, and that's probably never going to happen again. But I do appreciate that you're always. If you ever try to contact John Becker, I think whether he loves you or hates you, he's going to take your call. He's going to respond to what and he's going to try to work with you to solve a problem. He's trying to solve some problems in my neighborhood right now, and I appreciate him doing that.
I treat everybody with respect, and there's a reason I publish my phone number and email address. I encourage the public to reach out to me, and I'll do what I can to help.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a good day.